advantage of governance gaps. What was once seen as an isolated incident of violence on land is now rippling into our seas. It is posing grave challenges for national and regional security. As the lead agency responsible for managing the movement of persons across Nigeria's borders, the Nigerian Immigration Service understands the nexus between terrorism and maritime insecurity. From the illegal movement of foreign terrorist fighters to human trafficking, to irregular migration and the infiltration of our maritime borders, these threats demand a new level of vigilance. It demands innovation. It requires regional coordination. This workshop represents a timely and strategic step forward. Over the next 3 days, we will have the opportunity to pool our insights, to harmonize our experience, and to enrich the compendium of good practices for maritime border management in the context of counterterrorism. But beyond the documentation of good practices, we must also grapple with some hard truths. Firstly, that many of our national maritime strategies still lack robust provisions on terrorist movements across maritime borders. Those gaps in surveillance, data sharing, and port security continue to hinder early warning signs and detection. Secondly, that community engagement along coastal areas still remains underutilized in identifying and disrupting extremist networks. We must therefore move from coordination to integration, from fragmented efforts to a coherent regional approach that unites immigration services, the Navy, the customs, intelligence agencies, so that we have a seamless security architecture. The Nigerian Immigration Service is working hard to harmonize and modernize its border management infrastructure and to deploy maritime domain awareness tools, and also to expand interagency collaboration. But we know this is not a journey that we can walk alone. Regional solidarity and international support must remain indispensable. We therefore call for deeper intelligence sharing across borders and across domains. We call for stronger legal frameworks that criminalizes maritime terrorism in all its forms. We call for capacity building, initiatives that equip frontline officers with the tools to act decisively and lawfully. And above all, the political will to uphold international obligations even in the face of domestic constraints. Let us be clear. Ensuring maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea is not just a matter of safeguarding ships and ports. It is a matter of protecting sovereignty of national borders, defending human lives, and securing the economic futures of our nations. The seas connect us, but they also expose us. Therefore, our response must be connected, informed, and resilient. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I urge us all to approach this workshop with the urgency and seriousness it deserves. Let us listen, learn, and lead. Let this gathering be remembered not only for its dialogue, but for the actions it catalyzes. For in the era where threats to our maritime domain are as fluid as the waters themselves, only firm and collective resolve will keep us afloat. I thank you all for coming, and I thank you for listening.
Please, another round of applause for our new Immigration. That's the #1 immigration officer in the land. And as the CGI rightly emphasized, the Nigerian Immigration Service is fully primed to ensure the safety of our borders, especially in the maritime areas. Now, from one number one to another, for his remarks, please allow me to kindly welcome the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, in the person of CGC, Bashi Adewale Adeniyi, MFR.
There are 3 CGs here actually. One has spoken, one is speaking now. The third one is not in uniform, is from the Italian consulate. Consul General is also CG. Your Excellency, the representative of the Governor of Lagos State, represented by the Chief of Staff, my brother Tayo Ide, Your Excellency, the Chairman of the Senate Committee on Interior, Comrade Adam Oshomole, and here present, the Visionary Minister of Interior, and all other senior government officials, the Inspector General of Police, representative of other heads of government agencies here present, my colleagues from other African, West African countries participating, development partners here present, gentlemen of the press. It gives me pleasure to be here to make this remark commemorating this important workshop. I'd just like to start off from where the CGI ended. She identified critical areas where this workshop should be focused on. And I'm and collaboration between all the is born out of similar experiences that we've had in the community, global community of customs, under the auspices of the World Customs Organization. To see Mr. Vincent Njembi from the Customs Administration of Cameroon. I think apart from me, it looks like he's the only other customs officer inside this hall. Vincent, please stand up to be recognized. I didn't hear you being introduced during the introduction. Vincent was the Regional Development Manager for the West and Central African unit of the WCO. And that was the unit in WCO that coordinates the response and the activity looks after issues about maritime security, security around the Sahel, customs modernization, and all of that. And what we have always emphasized is the fact that just like CGI said, the sea exposes all of us. The Sahel also does. So we have all of these security challenges, coming to us from different places, and so we need to be more dynamic in our approach. We need to be coordinated. We need to have a coordinated response to some of these security threats. Permit me to add 2 major facts to what she has enumerated. All the terrorists that are operating along our shores are driven by narcotics. There is the element of the drugs that is in this mix. I have seen the program for today, I've seen the one for tomorrow. I understand the importance of sharing intelligence, having a legislative framework, but somewhere along the line, we have to have the use and the access and the control of narcotics to our conversation. The second, and possibly more important, is that terrorists around this place leverage the gaps in our financial systems to ensure that they launder illegal monies and resources to fund their operations. It could come in different ways. Some of them get involved in mining, some of them kidnapping, some of them illegal trafficking of human beings. But the most important thing is that we have to understand how they use the financial system to fund their activities. So terrorism financing is also very, very important, and I believe that we must find a way within these workshops or in similar engagements in the future to add this to the conversation. For those that are familiar with what has been happening in Nigeria in the last 2 years, there is a quiet revolution that we are witnessing in the interior sector, which is championed by the Honorable Minister of Interior. And the deployment of technology and all of that in managing our borders. Charity, the same begins at home. He has led the charge at home, and as he's leading this charge beyond the borders of Nigeria, providing a rallying force for all the stakeholders, other stakeholders within the Gulf of Guinea. I don't have any doubt in my mind that we are going to have, under his guidance, the same positive results. And on that optimistic note, I want to welcome all our participants, particularly those from outside Nigeria, and possibly those who are visiting Nigeria for the first time. If you have visited so many other African countries and you have not been to Nigeria, I don't think you have visited anywhere. Welcome to Nigeria. Thank you.
Please, another rounding applause for our Commissioner General of Customs for that wonderful speech. Thank you very much, sir. The Nigerian Immigration Service and the Nigerian Customs Service, they've always been partners in national security. So joining forces to tackle this menace of maritime border will obviously not be different. Now, speaking of partnerships and collaborations, please allow me to welcome our next speaker in the person of the Inspector General of Police. He is IGP Kayode Ibetoku. You're welcome, sir.
Your Excellency, the Governor of the State, ably represented by the Chief of Staff, Mr. Tayo Akimade. Your Excellency, the Senate Committee Chairman on Interior, Comrade Adam Soshomole, the former Governor of Edo State, when I was Commander of Number 5 Benin. It's good to see you again, sir. Your Excellency, the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olukunle Tunji-Ojo, our host, the Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Mrs. Kemi Nana Nana, the Chairman, House Committee on Interior, Honorable Abdullah, the Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Services, my brother Wale Adele. Thank you for your beautiful presentation. International development partners who are here present, distinguished participants at this conference, chiefs of the Nigerian Navy, and the rep of the DGDSS, you are all welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Maritime security, maritime insecurity is not just a threat to shipping lanes. It's a mirror of regional vulnerability and a test of our collective resolve. It's my honor to be here today to bring greetings and good wishes to this conference on maritime border security in the context of counter-terrorism in the Gulf of Guinea. I want to start by thanking the Controller General of Nigerian Immigration for extending invitation to me as a guest of honor at the opening ceremony of this conference. I also want to commend the strategic vision behind organizing this regional workshop, which brings together experts and stakeholders to discuss ways of addressing maritime border security challenges. The Nigerian police recognizes the complex and evolving nature of transnational organized crimes, including terrorism, piracy, illicit trafficking, and other asymmetric threats that has continued to threaten maritime stability. These threats demand more than just conventional responses. They require coordinated, intelligence-driven, and technology-enabled strategies. The Gulf of Guinea, as a critical maritime corridor connecting several nations, must be protected through effective surveillance, robust intelligence mechanisms, enhanced interagency collaborations, and deepened international cooperation. Its vulnerability to exploitation by non-state actors, including terrorism networks, compels unified action. In this regard, the Nigerian Police Force remains committed to working collaboratively with the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Nigerian Customs, and other relevant national and international agencies. This will help us to secure our maritime frontier and deter cross-border criminal activities. As this conference commences, I want to urge all participants at this conference to engage fully and utilize this opportunity to develop actionable frameworks that will strengthen operational partnerships and build trust across borders. The Nigerian Police Force stands ready to adopt, adapt, and operationalize the outcomes of this conference. I wish you all impactful engagement as we look forward to the success of this conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the IGP for those insightful comments. Very much appreciated. Now, speaking of insights and insightful, it's safe to say that our next speaker is very, very insightful. So he's a seasoned administrator over the years. He's been the governor of Edo State. He's currently the chairman of the State Senate Committee on Interior. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to welcome on stage the next speaker, the person of Dr. Adams Oshimole, the Senate Committee chairman on Interior. Welcome.
His Excellency the Governor of Lagos State, a very dear friend to deal with you, my colleague in the House of Representatives, chairman of the House Committee on Interior, and all the generals. In fact, I was going to recite the IG against the Controller General of Customs, because he said there were 3 generals in the house. The CJ Immigration, the CJ Italian, Consul General, and then he forgot the General of all Generals, the Inspector General of Police. So it will cause some trouble. Well, let me acknowledge your General of people being introduced from the different part of the country, of the continent, particularly the West Africa sub-region. And I therefore believe that this is not just another conference where we say it's international, like the Americans would say, and yet everybody attending come from the same country. Maritime border security from different African countries, particularly West Africa. I want to acknowledge our appreciation as a nation for the collaboration with foreign countries like Italy and other countries from different continents. Today I am not going to be insightful as suggested by the guy who introduced me, because I know next to nothing about maritime border security. I have come here essentially to listen as people involved in policy formulation. We have to listen, to learn, and to unlearn about what is it that we need to do differently at the level of, as a national legislator at the National Assembly, along with my colleague, so that where laws are required, we will understand the context in which those laws have to be made, and where appropriation is required, we'll be able to really understand why we need to spend more money in certain sectors. That is all I can say. As for the technicalities, the technology required, the manpower required, the kind of skill required, I have to confess, I am not very much at home with those. But having confessed my very limited knowledge, I want to share with you my thought on something that some people are pushing for at the moment. They have the conversation in the National Assembly by some persons who thought that we should create a coastal guard. In their opinion, we need a coastal guard to complement what the Immigration Service is doing, what the Navy is doing, and other security agencies. My personal opinion, not the opinion of the National Assembly, is that what we need is to invest really, fund properly, and train properly existing institutions. I believe that the Nigerian Navy is giving more resources to recruit more officers and men and acquire more equipment, communication gadgets, and all the things we need to have an effective and efficient naval force. And we spend more money on immigration to deal with their own aspects of border control. And you could spend more money on maritime police, which I got to know when I was governor in those states. I believe that re-equipping these existing institutions is to be preferred. They are setting up a completely new outfit that you spend so much more on overhead and then very little money available for operation. I won't cause more trouble by giving such example as we have done before when we exercise traffic division of the Nigeria Police to a whole outfit which we now call road safety. People of my age try to compare what we see now to to what it was when the road safety was part and parcel of the traffic division in Nigeria police. Having listened to all those who have spoken, I'm better informed about the challenges we face. I'm aware that we do face those challenges. Counter-terrorism, a lot of criminality goes on. The more at the political level, national government tries to facilitate movement of people with this region with minimum documentation. We also find the unintended consequences of people coming to the country, whether by land, by sea, and so on and so forth. In our sub-region, maritime security should be easily one. I am confident that Nigerian, those of us in the National Assembly, recognizing that we have no choice but to give a helping hand to ensure those are done. Let me use this opportunity to also appreciate our young Minister of Interior. You know, oftentimes people emphasize age. Age is just numbers. But for many observers, we have seen that with a thinker, one who is hungry to find solution, not to join the differently, even huge additional resources. When I traveled, the last time I traveled, I saw a huge difference at the border, both at the time of departure and when I arrived. I was surprised that I passed the gate without 2-3 people asking me questions. The pastor guided I can't see, and the gate is open. I can return to Nigeria. And I saw many of people smiling doing that. So it shows what is possible if we agree to keep thinking through better options, to be more efficient, to be more productive, and renewed commitment, not to make excuses, to do our best to safeguard the security of our country. We have a president that is also committed not to business as usual. He recognizes that business as usual will take us out of where we find ourselves. We have to think out of the box. He will join the army of those who lament what is not working. He prefer to be remembered as one who choose to make things happen rather than spending time explaining why things are not working. That challenges those of us who are part of his, let's say, political family, to do whatever we can do together so that it will be said at the end of the day that a lot of the problems that we are currently experiencing, I would say, and it would be right to say that they will all disappear, but that we can see a pathway to, finding lasting and sustainable solution to these various security challenges. And I'm sure we're in the hands of a good minister, very active woman. I think the CJ of Customs, you are showing every day that whatever a man can do, CJ of Immigration, you see whatever a man can do, the women do it much, much better and more quietly. We continue to remain responsible. But it's working for the minister to initiate broad policy. The translation of those policies, each unit under the interior require the head of those interiors and press with issues and are committed to giving effect to all the policies. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you for making it possible for me to meet so many brothers and sisters from various countries, and of course our cooperative partners from Italy and from other parts of the world. Have a great day too. I like this guy said I don't know why he ran away. He thought he would go to arrest him for smoking 17 place. The city of Customs, if you have traveled around the world and you are in Africa and you have not been to Nigeria, then this is Nigeria. Welcome to Nigeria. Thank you.
Let's kindly offer another round of applause for Thank you very much, sir. I will come to the ending part of the addresses. So to round off this remarks, it's my privilege to invite on stage the Honorable Minister of Interior, our very own action minister, the person of Honorable Tunji Ojo.
Thank you. His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by the Chief of Staff, Mr. Tayo Akimade Ayinde, my own leader, my father in the house, a man I share a very long history with, and a man who God used to initiate my political career. I say this every day, even against powers that be, as at that time. You know, that was when I was running for the House of Reps for the first time. Our own comrade, Adams and Leo, Eric Ashiomoye. My brother, the House Committee Chairman of Interior, Prince Abdullahi Aliyu Ahmed, I welcome you. And of course, the Inspector General of Police. I'm so happy seeing you here, sir, because the maritime police is what a lot of us do not pay a lot of attention to. And the collaboration between NIS and the maritime police is very key in terms of achieving what we want to achieve. So, Dr. Kayode Betokuma, I welcome you especially, sir. And of course, the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Mr. Demi just stepped out, and of course the representative of the Chief of Naval Staff and the Director General, Department of State Security. We welcome you, thanks for coming. The representative of the DG NEMASA, the MD NPA, and of course the ED Chiefs Council, we want to welcome you. The Consul General, Consulate of Italy, here in Lagos, we welcome you to your city. And of course, the Head Border Security Management, United Nations Office for Counter-Terrorism, UNOCT, will welcome you. All distinguished guests, both from Nigeria and outside of Nigeria, welcome you. And for me, today, and of course, sorry, my CGI came in Nana. Sometimes I ask Nana, maybe you're Nigerian, you're Ghanaian. This is a very important program for me. It's a very important program for the Ministry of Interior. It's a very important program for Nigeria. And the reason being that border security is key to whatever we want to do. I think it was Barack Obama that once said, a safe border is a secured nation. If you cannot secure your border, you can never keep your people safe. If you want the police to have less work to do, if you want our law enforcement agencies to have less work to do, the first step is to secure your border. If you cannot control the inflow and outflow of people, then there is a problem. And of course, of all the three border areas, the maritime, the air, and of course the land, we know that the most porous and the most technical is obviously the maritime border. And Nigeria, looking at our geographical location in Africa, I say this, it could be an asset, it could be a liability. Because Nigeria is a country, one of the few. Anybody can go to UTC, go to anywhere and manufacture stamp and put it on passport. Because when they say, oh, this is immigration stamp, the question is, how are we sure it was actually stamped by immigration? So we thought that the only way to secure our system is via automation. And I'm very happy with what I've read from this folder today. I'm very happy. We have to look at how to integrate AI solutions into our solution architecture. And of course, to invest more in surveillance. The simple truth is that intelligence gathering is not as cheap as people think. A lot of us, it is what we see as physical infrastructure that we think is costly. But sometimes the service that drives the infrastructure will be more expensive than the infrastructure. That's why once we're talking to our National Assembly people, our leaders in National Assembly, when police, immigration, customs is talking about cost of intelligence gathering, it takes somebody who really understands what intelligence and surveillance is to appreciate the amount of money that goes into that. Because implementation is the quality of the surveillance and intelligence at your disposal. If you do not have that accurate intelligence, regardless of how much you spend on physical infrastructure, it's going to be wasted. Security all over the world has gone beyond the era of corrective measures. Security all over the world has even gone beyond the era of detection. Security all over the world has gone to the era of preemptive and ability to predict before it happens. That's why you have AI. AI looks at sequence, looks at pattern of life and all these things. So these are not cheap things. We hope that the National Assembly will further be able to support us to be able to achieve it. Then, in terms of the maritime, we have a large stretch of our maritime border. We know the problems we have at the moment with regards to our land border that spans over 4,047 kilometers. And of course, we are, as a country, we have to look at the countries that we also border. That tells us the reason why we have to also invest in our border security. Because when you look at the Sahel, sometimes I tell people when they say, oh, the Nigerian security architecture, it's not doing a great job, because when you have a responsibility of protecting 230 million people and you are bordered from the Sahel, you have Niger, you have the Chad, you have, when you look at Cameroon, we look at, all of them have their own internal issues. And of course, they also come into, they flow into Nigeria. So there's a lot of responsibility on the part of the security agencies. But the good thing is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a president that I said his presidency is based and built on boldness, audacity, and tenacity. That's the truth. You can see it from his actions. He's not, this particular government and administration is not one that is built on the quest for popularity, but at the expense of long-term gains. This particular administration is about building strong structure, strong systems upon strong foundation to be able to give us adequate and efficient deliverable for the future. So for me, I want to welcome you to this particular program, and I want you to please engage. I want you to please say your mind, give us ideas, because sometimes the idea that is needed to save an institution can always come from the least of places. Because the outcome of this workshop is going to be key. And from the border security strategy, we'll come out with actionable things that we will need to do. Even from our air border, etc. Immigration, years ago, used to have aircraft for area surveillance. We used to have that in the past. Today, we don't have. These are things that this particular government is looking into. It's a tough one because we are starting from a very tough point. But the good thing is that we have a president that is not discouraged, a president that does not determine his action by the toughness of the decision he needs to make. He's a man that enjoys taking the tough and hard decision, because it's about a statesman whose only interest is not just about today, but about the tomorrow of Nigeria. So at this juncture, I want to welcome you. We will make sure that this does not become a talk show. This will be a workshop. And from the workshop, we will be able to have actionable and implementable outcomes. So I thank you for coming, and I also encourage you to give it your best. And of course, NIS, you know the way we work. It's not about coming to talk. We want to work and be able to create support to 230 million Nigerians. And we hope we will continue to make Nigeria proud. We will continue to protect our maritime space, and Lastly, before I go, I must also congratulate you for being able to bring out and collaborate with the customs, with the police. This is very key. And I think there's an area of collaboration that probably before now we've not really been exploiting well or properly. That is the maritime police. I think it's important because we must come together, share intelligence, work together as one, and understand, as the president keeps saying, we might be in different rooms, but the bottom line is that we are members of the same house. We are in the same house, but just occupying different rooms. National security is a matter of integration, it's a matter of understanding that an agency cannot survive without another agency. There is no competition, there is only complementation. You can only complement one another and not compete with one another. At this point, I welcome you, and it is my privilege and honor to declare this workshop open. God bless you.
That's our actual minister himself, Honorable Minister of Interior, Honorable Ojo. Thank you very much for that vibrant address. Thank you very much, sir. Up next, we have a media presentation. It's actually a video from USG Vladimir Voronkov from the United Nations Office of Counterterrorism. If you are ready, the media presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to address you today. This event, organized by the United Nations Office of Counterterrorism in partnership with the Nigerian Immigration Service, is a timely initiative. Security authorities and subject matter experts from across the Gulf of Guinea and beyond will gather to address a shared challenge: the threats posed by terrorist travel and maritime insecurity in one of the world's most strategic regions. The Gulf of Guinea is a lifeline for economies across West and Central Africa and for the broader global energy and trade systems. Share of global shipping, energy transport, and regional commerce. However, this maritime corridor remains vulnerable to illicit activities that erode state authority and endanger regional stability from piracy, illegal fishing, human trafficking, and the growing reach of terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda affiliate Jenin into coastal zones. Sustained international support is critical as part of a more comprehensive effort to combat terrorism and prevent its spread into the countries of the Gulf of Guinea. In this context, continue to intensify efforts in support of regional initiatives, particularly those aimed at preventing terrorists from expanding their influence and engaging in maritime piracy and trafficking. Our collective response must be multidimensional. We must close regulatory gaps that enable impunity at sea. We must improve maritime domain awareness and intelligence sharing and borders. We must build the capacity of frontline agencies, including navies, coast guards, port and immigration authorities. We must empower coastal communities as essential parts in maritime vigilance and early warning. These efforts must be guided by the whole of government and whole of society approaches. Effective maritime security can't be achieved without engaging all relevant sectors, including civil society, local authorities, and private actors in prevention, resilience, and accountability. Excellencies, this workshop will build on the compendium of good practices for maritime border management in the context of counter-terrorism, first developed in 2022, consultations with members in East and Southern Africa. Today we look to the unique perspectives, experiences and expertise of partners in West Africa and Central Africa to enrich this body of work. Our response must be equally coordinated, forward-looking and rooted in solidarity. I'd like to thank Italy for its financial support in organizing this event. Excellencies, looking ahead, let's continue to build a safe, sustainable and prosperous maritime domain for Africa and for the world. I thank you.
Thank you very much, UNCT, for that informative video. Further, there's a special playlist specially curated for this event. I'm not going to take more than 5 minutes. So with the kind permission of the Minister, we are going to go ahead and play the playlist for our viewing pleasure. If the playlist is ready, please.
Back to a time where the people of the region of Matata lived together in peace and harmony. Though different people, different languages, different way of life, yet they found a way to live together in peace and harmony. And together, they caused their region to thrive.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news.
Forms of violence. You brought with it trafficking, robbery, kidnapping, illegal bomb, sea piracy, and every manner of evil.
The people tried to see if they could defeat the terror. One by one, they ended up losing.
Land once to enjoy peace and happiness is now the land filled with terror, pain, and sorrow. The people live in fear. The people live in despair. The people live in a terrible condition. The land was filled with sickness and death.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
When a truck spills its load, when a fuel-laden tanker falls, after a road accident involving valuable cargo, let's not see this as time to steal or loot. Stealing or looting in the face of disaster isn't just illegal. It is a betrayal of our shared humanity. Let's come together in times of disaster, not to take, but to give. Our focus should be on helping the victims and reporting the incident. Choose empathy. Be the light in darkness.
Are you a tech enthusiast?
Perhaps you want to know more about the devices and gadgets you use. Tech Mode will bridge that gap. Connect great minds while extraying everything about
together they defeated the shadow, taking back their land and bringing back peace into their region.
Friends, this is our story. The story of how we can come together to foster peace and harmony for the development of our region. Like this beautiful story told, the chiefs represent the great and mighty Nigerian Immigration Service, and the second chief represents the ever-ready, helpful hand of United Nations. And the people of Matata represents the great, wonderful, brave people of the Gulf of. And together we can foster peace and harmony. And together,
Wow, 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 wow. What a beautiful rendition. What a beautiful rendition. And I'm sure everyone has gotten the message passed across that when we are united, when we decide to collaborate with ourselves, we can achieve so much more. United Nations Office of Counterterrorism, we thank you for your assistance and for your hands of fellowship. The governor of Lagos is ably represented by Mr. Tayo Ayinde, and my principal, CG, Mrs. Kemen Anandap, the Senate Committee Chair on Interior, Distinguished Senator Aliu Adams Oshiomhole, the IGP, and the representatives of the Navy, the DSS, the House Committee Chair on Interior. I think we've had so much fun, especially with this drama, and what we have listened to so far. On this note, it is time for photo shoot. So the photo shoot is going to be held at the back of the hall. And then there will be a tea break afterwards. The photo shoot is going to be held here. Before the photo shoot, I think we are going to have, the minister just instructed us to have the national anthem. So, thank you very much, sir. So the national anthem, sir. May we all stand up, please. The national anthem.